Welcome back. Last week we did season 2, episodes 1 through 8, and today we're doing season 2, episodes 9 through 16 of our most iconic quotes from each episode of Psych. Episode 9 is called Bounty Hunters. I have a pretty good one from this. It's a special moment between Juliet and Sean, and Juliet says, "Oh, really? What do you say we're doing?" And Sean says, "I call it very close talking."
Yes, obviously the close talking moment, the back and forth. I love the fact that afterwards, when he walks away, she redoes her gun because that's her stress relief.
Yeah.
I love that scene.
Yeah, it's one of those little steps on the Sean and Juliet relationship through the series. And
did you have any runners up? Okay, so I actually did. Anytime they talked about retiring, Sean would like hide and duck and be all scared. And then every time they question him, it's like anyone that talks about retiring, they get shot at.
Oh.
Episode 10. Gus's dad may have killed an old guy. Well, Sean, it looks like it's another draw this year. Yes, it appears so. And then they exchange gifts. And Sean's like, "Oh, you got me little Psych gift golf balls." Sean's gift to his dad is, "Dear Dad, you got me Psych golf balls and golf lessons from a pro down at the municipal course. Turn it over, turn it over." I believe his name is Pierre. Booyah, I got you, man.
The gift exchange, the Sean and Henry's annual gift exchange, was my honorable mention. But my most iconic is Lassiter, who keeps telling people I want snow globes for Christmas.
That one is kind of mine. Honorable mention, technically, it's all the perfect gifts that Sean got because he naps where he can overhear the psyche vows.
Yeah.
Wish they would have done a running gag a lot longer for the snow globes.
Doesn't Corbin Burnson actually collect snow globes in real life?
Does he? That would be funny. That would be cool.
Yeah, he has a big snow globe collection. Okay, episode 11. There's something about Mira. This quote is from Sean. This is my most iconic from this episode. "Your best man was a goat? I was supposed to be that goat."
Yes, so mine was the kind of the whole thing, but Goldslager, because that's what made Gus marry her, and then they get married and there's a goat, and I was supposed to be that goat.
Yep. Best man was a goat. It was just too funny.
The next episode, episode 12, is The Old and the Restless. The only time we see Grandpa Spencer, he gives some sage advice to Sean. "Do me a favor, Sean. Sometimes you gotta let what your dad says float through the ears. Make your own choices. Don't take life too seriously. Travel the world. Meet interesting people. Have some adventures. Because one day you're gonna wake up old and realize that you're too old to do anything really fun." I feel like that's iconic because I feel like that's part of the reason Sean is the way he is he listened to his grandpa's advice.
That's true. And that's the only time we hear from a flashback with the grandpa. My number one is, "Can you check for a John Doe, please? Actually, can you check all the Does? Taekwon, Cookie, Play, Dosey."
So I really like that one. It makes me laugh every single time, even though I've heard it a million times. My second one was actually "Talk to me like I'm 5. His blood pressure went boom and his brain got an owie."
I do like that one. That's a good line. So my number one, most iconic from episode 13, Lights, Camera, Homicidio, is when Lassiter says, I can't even say, "Hola, me llamo Inspector Carlton Lassiter. Me gusta queso." And Juliet, who was too nervous to say anything herself, says, "Really? That's what you choose to say?"
So that's actually my honorable mention. So I really like this GIF and I like this scene. So
Yeah.
I chose, no, he didn't. You should have a degree in being wrong all the time. She would have almost got away with it, but it was not for the hairs.
That is one of my honorable mentions. And that does make a great gift. I had a couple honorable mentions. One is when Gus says, Sean's the father of Serena's baby. I just love how invested he was in that.
Yeah. I like how Henry got super invested too.
Sean's telling his dad, hey, I'm Sean. I'm not this character. And then Henry says, don't be an idiot. I'm not one of your fans. I barely even like you.
Yeah, I like that too, because it's like, really, Dad? That's awful. I'm your son.
Pretty harsh.
Episode 14, Dislodged. Mine is a scene with Henry and Sean, and Henry says, this is not the time for your shenanigans. It was a single shenanigan, technically more of a hijink. I like this exact line because it's just Sean in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So I really have to pick that one.
My most iconic is I picked a young Gus quote. I feel like this is the most iconic young Gus quote that I could think of right now. And that's I don't need you in your misplaced prepositions.
So I really like that too.
Just a great young Gus line that's really memorable.
For my honorable mention, it wasn't exactly a quote, but it was Gus working his magic with the doctors of the club. He wasn't fazed that someone died. He was just trying to work his business magic.
My honorable mention is Sean and Henry conversation when Sean says, I want the truth. What really happened to my cat chairman, Meow? You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
That was a good one. I also like the name Chairman Meow and have named one of our foster kitties. In the first group of fosters we had was Chairman Meow.
That's awesome. After Sean's cat.
Although it was technically a girl cat, we find out, but you know.
Did Chairman Meow end up being Chairwoman Meow?
Yeah.
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 So it works anyway. I feel like we should have the same most iconic on this one.
I kind of hope so.
Unless you went off the rails here. My most iconic for episode 15, Black and Tan, a crime of fashion, is, I beg your pardon, my name is Black, his name is Tan. I can't believe you just made that assumption. You should be ashamed of yourself and your family.
Yep. And I was going to make the joke of while I was writing it, but I didn't want to give it away. That if you didn't pick this one, I would be ashamed, and your family should be ashamed too.
That's awesome. There's no contest. That's the most iconic from that episode.
It's one of my favorite lines from the series, to be honest.
It's probably up there in most iconic for the whole series, kind of like have you heard about Pluto? Say Black and Tan, everyone who watches the show knows what you're talking about.
Right.
I have an honorable mention. I just feel like this is a good quote. It's not a funny quote, it's just a good quote. But he says, remember, Dad, you treat a woman like a person, then a princess, then a Greek goddess, then a person again.
So I actually picked that line, but when Sean is saying it to Gus, and because Gus is like, should I pull out the cheetah? And Sean says, the cheetah is the worst name for a pickup line in the history of mankind. Remember the rule, treat a woman like a person, then a princess, then a Greek goddess, then a person again. Episode 16, Sean and Gus of the Dead. My most iconic quote for this episode is, I'm the new chief, not interim. Don't you dare call me that again.
That's my honorable mention. Well, one of them. Yeah, that's a cool moment for Chief Vic.
It sets up the series, the rest of it.
So it's Gus imitating Sean.
Yes!
And look at me, I love my hair. I can make obscure 80s references that nobody understands. Laugh at me, ha ha ha. Hey, know something about me? I have a motorcycle, but I never seem to be riding it.
That's my honorable mention. I love that because it's so true. It's dead on. It's Sean. And you never really think about it, but that motorcycle was like almost a gag they used in the first season one time. And then they kind of reference it throughout the rest of the series.
I have two other just little short honorable mentions. One is the Bruton Gaster photo credit.
That was a good one.
That's classic. And the other is Steve Frank's cameo when Sean says, "I do not have pancake butt." So,
yeah, and then he's looking at him weird. Yeah, those were two. I didn't write them down, but those were ones I was thinking of that were definitely iconic.
That concludes our most iconic quotes from all of season 2. Yay. If you missed any of our other videos, you can go back and find them on YouTube. And next time we will do the first half of season 3.
Bye. Thanks for watching.